Hello, good morning, this is Rob Koster for Cardgameexpert, and today I'm going to be playing something different. I'm going to be playing some Legacy. This is Legacy Spirits. This is a list at 5-0. I've been wanting to get into Legacy for a while. It's been the only format that I haven't been uploading with yet. Like, I've done Vintage, I've done tons of Modern, I've done some Standard, but just no Legacy, and which is a shame because this format is a ton of fun. I have played a little of it before. So anyway, this is a Spirits deck. This is a lot like the Pioneer and Modern deck, and that's the reason that I chose this as well. I'm not that familiar with Legacy, but I do want to get into it more because I did enjoy the time I spent there. And one of the best ways to get into a format is to just play something aggressive, just lots of flyers, lots of hexproof removal. Like, this deck looks very all-rounded. Well-rounded is a word I should use. Some Aether Vials. I know how to play Spirits from Modern, Legacy. I've played it in Standard. I've played it in casual games as well. So I kind of know what I'm doing with like the main base and stuff. So that takes a lot of the learning experience out of this for me. So the main point I have to focus on is like, what am I going to Force of Will? What am I going to use my Swords to Plowshares on? Which makes the learning the new format a lot easier because I can just focus on what they are doing and less on what I'm doing, because I know I can turn my Supreme Phantom right ways. I know I can Drogskol Camp or something, you know, like those things I already know. So that's one of my biggest tips in learning Legacy. Take a deck that looks like something you've played before and get into the format that way. Just make it easy on yourself. There's no use in me going like, I'm gonna play Doomsday, and then I'm gonna be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what they're doing. What do I need to do? And then I'm just gonna lose a lot and not have a lot of fun. So definitely start out with something you know. Just take something you know, stick with it. So anyway, there's a lot of spirits in here. Skyclave Apparition, Drogskol Captain, Spell Queller, Rattlechain, Supreme Phantom, Spirit, the Labyrinth, Mausoleum Wanderer. This is I've played all of these before. That's except for the Skyclave Apparition because it's just very brand new. The sideboard has 4 Wastelands, which is nice. Caracas is for things like Griselbrand, I'm guessing. Cavern of Souls, you know, the usual. There's a Path to Exile in here, Selfless Spirit. This is in the main in Modern, but I can see it being in the side. There's a lot less removal in Legacy. Rest in Peace, Remorseful Clay. This is all fairly obvious, you know. So, and these cards are all just Modern legal, so I know all of them. Lol, that deafening size. I did not see that before. That's so funny. In Modern, you play Eidolon of Rhetoric in this place. With that being said, as always, if you enjoy the content, please like, comment and subscribe, and let's get to the game. So we start our games with an Aether Vial off of a Wasteland. They play an Aether Vial as well, so I'm guessing we're on the mirror. Turn 2 we play a Cavern of Souls, naming Spirits, obviously. They play a second Aether Vial. Then we end of turn play a Rattlechain. Rattlechain goes in and attacks. Then a Spell Queller at the end of our turn. I'm playing it out because there's no way it's countering anything with 2 Aether Vials in play. They violin a Baleful Strix, then they brainstorm, shuffle away the cards they put on top. Brainstorm again. So they're just seeing a ton of cards. They're obviously not on the mirror. I decide to use a Skyclave Apparition to remove the Baleful Strix because I do need to get through and push some damage here. And yeah, my hand just doesn't really have much going on except for the one Force of Will that's kind of dead here because that's just filing in everything. And now that at this point, this game is basically over because they're gonna go ahead and Soul Herder their Guardian of what's it called? The Recruiter of the Guard. That's the one I mean. They're gonna recur it every turn, and they're gonna find more Baleful Strixes every turn. So they're gonna wipe my board slowly but surely, and make sure that I can't attack. And then I just die. I bought out the Aether Vial because I'm guessing that this game should go long, and that way the Aether Vial doesn't add as much mana. Like, an Aether Vial on turn 1 is very good, an Aether Vial on turn 10 is not that great. So they play an Aether Vial again. They hardcast a Recruiter of the Guard, so I immediately Spell Queller it. I'm just happy to have any target, especially with an Aether Vial for them. And then I play a Kira, the Great Glass Spinner, and attack in. They play the Baleful Strix, but this time I came prepared. I did not just forget it. And Swords to Plowshares happens, so they go away again. Recruit of the Guard for them, and they're looking up a, a Soul Herder. There we go. If it's relevant for the later game, I'm just gonna show the ones they're looking for, but usually they just play them out immediately. So they, this is what is happening this time again. They Recruiter of the Guard, this time for a Flicker Wisp. Spell Queller happens, so that's the Flicker Wisp. Drogskol Captain happens, and we start attacking in. We're very far ahead on board right now, and they're just getting more creatures. So this time they're getting a creature, the Peacekeeper. And yeah, they're playing it, and I'm just going to go ahead and Swords to Plowshares it because they're dead on board. This hand's a mulligan, this hand's also a mulligan, and this is another mulligan. Oh man, this is a multi 4, so we need to get really lucky. So we go ahead, play a Mausoleum Wanderer, and yeah, then we get Wasteland. At this point, I kind of just wanted to click Concede, like a mulligan to 4 is already on the why would I bother? However, they didn't play a second land, so I'm gonna try and play it out anyway, and then I just, curve out 3 lands in a row, because I'm that skilled at the game. That's just all skill, no luck involved at all, ever, so obviously just ripping 3 lands from the top in perfect curve. And so, yeah, I curve out beautifully after that ball to 4, and now it's turn 5, and at this point, they're the ones that are very unlucky. They've not drawn any lands at all. They do have a second Aether Vial, but at this point they're just very far behind. And I skipped playing the Rattle Chains at the end of turn last turn, specifically so I could do this, where they Skyclave Apparition, because I knew it was coming. It was so obvious. And then I can Rattle Chains, give the Droxel Captain Hexproof, and now my team is just very big and very flyy. That's not a word. Why does my mind do stuff like that? Anyway, they violin a second Recruit of the Guard, find a Baleful Strix, and I Skyclave Apparition it, and yeah, that's the game. They're dead on board again. So they go ahead and take lethal, and we go on to the next match. For our next match, we have another mulligan. The mana situation in this deck has been pretty not great. I've had a ton of mana problems with this one. Aether Vial for us, so kind of hoping to stay alive. They green star Zenith for Axis 1, and get a Veteran Explorer, which is a card that I realize isn't for a Nick Fit, I believe it's called. I believe that deck is called Nick Fit. I don't know if John are the usual colors for that. Anyway, they play a Titania Protector, and I Force of Will it. Then I play a Mausoleum Wanderer into a Droxel Captain, and they Cabal Therapy me, and I didn't do anything because I figured they'd miss anyway. Because who's gonna call the cards of a Spirit Tribal deck that 5-0 once? Like, that's not happening. So I just rarely respond to the Cabal Therapy. They Lightning Bolt my Droxel Captain, so now I'm just very far behind on board. I end up trying to bounce the Titania Protector of Argon, not fully realizing what was going to happen, but I knew what was going to happen when I saw these triggers. I knew I was going to die. So yeah, I concede. I'm not even going to make them bother doing it. So bought in some Graveyard Hate and Akira Great Glassman, basically figuring like that probably some Assassin's Trophies or something coming up, some Lightning Bolts. We saw a Lightning Bolt in the first game as well. They suspend the Greater Gargadon, then they Cabal Therapy me again. Like, they're naming Brainstorm. They don't have a clue what's in this deck, and they shouldn't. It's 5-0 once. Then they Cabal Therapy me again, because I kind of messed up here. I forgot that Cabal Therapy had no mana cost for bringing it back, so that was not great. I end up not countering the Sylvan Library here because I want to, first off, counter a threat, and second off, if they pay life to draw cards, the only way I'm winning this is by getting them to 0. So I need them to take damage in some way, and the fastest clock on the board is their own Sylvan Library. And then they play a Terror of the Peaks. I didn't even know this card was standard playable, let alone legacy playable, but here we are because it would dominate this board. So I go at Source to Plowshares and Abrupt Decay. I'm like, yeah, sure, one Abrupt Decay. Oh, they have a second one. That's not great. Yeah, I flash in a Mausoleum Wanderer, but yeah, that double Abrupt Decay just destroyed me. There's no other word for it. It was just like, I could have easily beaten one Abrupt Decay. That wouldn't have been a big deal, but yeah, the second one just really did me in. So I play Akira Great Glass Spinner, as they have a Titania again together with the Greater Gargadon on suspend. So I attack in. I needed to draw. If I had drawn a Lord there, by the way, instead of the Kira or the Flooded Strand, I would have won this game because I played the Lord, and my Mausoleum Wonders would have been 3/3s, and I would have killed them. So this was a this game is a lot closer than it looks like now. So anyway, they attack in for what I'm guessing is more than 14. It's like 40 or something. So yeah, it was 50 something. So for the third match, they Green Sun Zenith for a Dryad Arbor, and I'm so glad that is a modern legal because that's insanely powerful. They play an Elvish Visionary as I play a Spirit of the Labyrinth that can be countered. Fly in with the Mausoleum. They're playing an Allosaurus Shepherd, and oh my god, is that card busted. I had never seen it before, but good god, is that card busted. I read it, and the first thing that went to my mind is, you can't be real. I must have misread that. In the meanwhile, I play some things on the board, play an Aether Vial. And look at this mana base. I have like double Wasteland Cavern. I do have the Flooded Strand, but still. And even if I don't go and try to Wasteland some stuff, this is just rough. Like, drawn third Wasteland and stuff. So they're attacking in, and I almost didn't block, but I realized that 5 times 4 is 20. So yeah, kind of glad I read that one again. End up blocking. I totally just missed it. I was like, why are they attacking like this? I don't know. I don't get this attack. Oh wait, I'm dead if I don't block. Let's block. That's literally how that went. It was like, oopsie. Definitely getting used to the cars. Having a lot of fun doing it. Like Azorius Shepherd, I think it's very, very powerful. It's really busted. Anyway, we attack in. I just want to chip in some damage through the air. We have board control at this point, so I want to go over them. As they play a glimpse of nature, and I cannot counter that fast enough. Like, there is not a thing in the world I'm going to counter faster than a glimpse of nature. And they just recur an elvish visionary by, whatchamacallit? Returning it to their hand every time with the Wirewood symbiote. Is that the one? One of their creatures bounces a creature, and that's the one they're using to recur the Elvish Vision. I know how magic works. I've done the magics before. I swear. Anyway, in response to their collector oof in game 1, by the way, I ate the vial and don't put anything in because my spirit just has flash anyway because of rattle chain. So kind of fancy play there, just being fancy because I can be fancy. You know, it's nice being fancy. Fancy. Anyway, I bought out the Force of Wills because they play the Azorius Shepherd. And probably like a Cavern of Souls or two. They play Aquarian Ranger, Aether Vial for me. And then an Azorius Shepherd again. I do like that name. Azorius are really cool. Anyway, Aquarian Dryad attacking in as they go back. They untap a creature there because they want to untap want another mana for that land. So what they're doing here is untapping a creature, bouncing the land, playing it again, so they have an extra mana. Then they play a Heritage Druid and attack in with 3 creatures. So I'm like, wait a second, there's just nothing going on there, is there? So I just go in as aggressively as I can. I have Spirit of the Labyrinth, which shots off like glimpse of nature and Elvish Visionary. Here they're blocking. I play a Supreme Phantom and they just concede the match. Like, they were never coming back from that. There was just not enough going on in their hand. For the next game, we have an Aether Vial on turn 1 of a Wasteland. Again, like, this deck has so much trouble getting blue and white mana together. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. But I did the math. It did check out. So anyway, that Delver attacks. They're on blue-red Delver. And I'm going to go ahead and try and block here. With the Mausoleum Wanderer of a Vial. The Delver keeps coming in, though. They have the Lightning Bolt. They play a second one. I Force of Will it. And then I just put a counter on Aether Vial as I draw 1 drop that I can't cast. Like, this game made me really miserable about this mana base. Like, I have no colors, and I'm just kind of guessing on what number my Aether Vial should be. Then I draw a Planeswhile. I have the 1 Mausoleum Wanderer. Now, Aether Vial still on 2 while I draw a Spell Color. Also, I'm getting my head kicked in by that Delver over there, or that Insectal Apparition. Kinda jealous. That deck looks sweet. I'm gonna play that one for sure in the future. Here we finally get to trade, but we took like 7 damage off their 1 drop because we just didn't draw any colored sources at all. It's turn 6. I haven't seen a blue land yet. I've tried to Force of Will at Delver. They force back. Then they played Ethereal Forager. That art is really cool. I like that art a lot. That creature is sweet. They get a card back in their hand. I violin a Drogskull Captain, try and block the Delver again. At this point, I'm just playing damage control as they bolt my face and chain lightning my face. Well, the other way around, but you get it. I died. So I'm boarding out the Force of Will because I'm never winning the counter war against them anyway. And I want just more flyers and more removal. So that hands a mulligan. As we get here where I'm Wasteland into Aether Vial again. They Force of Will it. And then they Wasteland me. And at this point I can play a Mausoleum Wanderer. So let's do that. Then they play a Delver of Secrets again. Second Mausoleum Wanderer for us. And at that point our Mausoleum Wanderer gets +1/+1. So flying in with a 2/2. 1 mana 2/2. Delver is like, I can do better. Hold my beer. Now they have a 1 mana 3/2 flying. But hey, theirs doesn't counter a spell, I guess. So yeah. Supreme Phantom for us. It gets dismembered though as we are attacking. And then we trade with the Insectal Apparition. I didn't counter the dismember there because I think that the Lord dealing 4 is already more than it's ever going to achieve. Then I Aether Vial again. They Force of Negation and attack with Ethereal Forager. They get a card back to their hand and they play a Ponder. And at this point they're just really pulling ahead as I can't play my spells. So I luckily draw a Tundra here. So now I at least get to do like something if-ish, I guess. But they're just accruing so much value. That Dreadhawk Arcanist is going to town on cards. That Ethereal Forager is going very ethereal and very foragey. It's a hungry hippo right here. It's a whale, but who cares? Dreadhawk Arcanist again. Like, look at those triggers. That's like draw 3. That's an Ancestral Recall they're getting in value just by attacking. Then they wasteland my Cavern of Souls. And I just try to flash in a Drugstore Captain, but it's gonna get lightning bolted immediately. Then I play a Spirit of the Labyrinth, but it just gets Force of Will. And at this point, I'm just literal dead on board. So I'm going to go ahead. Like, I can block, but then I'm just going to die anyway the next turn. Because I can block, their creatures live, and then next turn they attack again. So there's no point in going on there. Now we're up against Elves again. As they play a Quirion Dryad, Quirion Ranger into a Wildwood Symbiote. And I play a Spirit of the Labyrinth, figuring that it was good last time. So probably is this time as well. Then they fetch a Dryad off as they play another Allosaurus. No, not another. This is their first Allosaurus Shepherd. We played against Elves twice in this league, so that's nice. All the Elves fans in my channel should definitely try out Legacy because the Elves deck is good. Skycliff Apparition for us as they go ahead and bounce their creature again. So we get no value, but I need to stop the speed of that Allosaurus Shepherd a bit. And then they Natural Order because, well, I'm tapped out, so I get Crater Hoofed. I haven't been hoofed in a while, so it still really hurts, is all I can tell. Boarding out Force of Wills and Kira Great Glass Spinner because of the Allosaurus Shepherd again. I didn't see Collector Oof this time, so boarding a bit differently. As they play a Once Upon a Time, I forgot that card existed because it should be deleted from Magic. As they play one again, so try it out for them. Chaos Creator, and this is also just really a bit crucial here because I have a Wasteland and a Thunder, and I really want to Wasteland that Chaos Cradle, but I can't because I will not be able to play my own spells. And yeah, the fast forwarding is happening, which means, you know, they're comboing off. They get a Progenitus and the Creator of Beam, and they beat my constant GG's. So after playing those games, I did the math on the mana base, and even though I had a ton of trouble with the mana base, the numbers do add up. If you just check the numbers you want, so let's see here, so just put this up. This is what you want, and yeah, the deck's running 15 blue sources, so that's correct, and the other one, the white sources for the Skycliff Apparition, that's at 17, which is also just perfectly fine. So I think I just ran really bad on the mana sources, which, well, happens, I guess. Because at first I was kind of convinced that Wasteland shouldn't be here, because you don't really need it. Everyone in this format is very prepared for it. But, well, yeah, the numbers do add up, so can't beat the math. I think I just ran really bad with the mana base. It happens. For the rest, I did enjoy this deck a lot. I had some serious fun with this. I saw some cool interaction that I'd never seen before. Like the Greater Gargadon match was, oh my god, what the hell is this? I would enjoy having more spell Quellers in the main. Just because you get to run like 12 counter spells, which seems like the critical number. As I immediately click one out of it again. Oh yeah. Come on. I know you're a spirit, but stay here for just a little bit more. Don't be fleeting now. So anyway, I would like these 12 counter spells in here. Over, I don't know, maybe like... this is probably why they aren't there. Maybe just take out like one of the Wastelands or something. And... I don't know. Maybe one of the Wasteland, maybe two of the Wasteland. I just like to have like one more creature every game. Spellquell was... When I drew it, was absolutely fine to play. I do know why you're playing just more mana sources in general. The modern versions run like 22. And this is on 24 lands, I believe. 23 lands. So I do get it. Because of, well, this is a Wasteland format after all. But I would like just like 2-3 more creatures in the main. So maybe some Spell Queller and maybe... Spirit of the Labyrinth was strangely good. I liked it. And I don't know, maybe take like one source to Plowshares, do like this. Where is it? There isn't one in here. Anyway, just add a fourth of these. Something like that seems fine. You need to... This also just ups the blue count for Force of Will, which is nice. I had a bunch of times when I didn't have a blue card for it. This gets you to 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 21, 22, 20, 24, 20... 25 blue cards, which seems fine. So yeah, I'd go something like this... Just get a little bit more creatures in there. I liked a lot of what the deck was doing, but definitely just tweak the numbers to your own taste. For the sideboard, yeah, I don't really know the format well enough to be like man, we really needed this. The Delver matchup felt pretty hopeless. We just got trounced there pretty profoundly. So maybe, I don't know what beats Delver. Something against Delver should be good. You could run, I don't know, maybe just more Kira, create Glass Spinner or something. I really don't know. Maybe just the second part to Exile will be fine. Oh, that's another thing. We had one matchup where the life from the Swords to Plowshares really matters. And what you could do with this deck is just replace the Swords to Plowshares with the path to Exile. And then you just get this theme of pressuring their mana base. Right? Like on the one hand, you're just killing their base or their non-basics, and you're giving them the basics. Most Legacy decks only play like 1 or 2 basics. And this deck plays 4, but I think that's the exception more than the rule. So you could go like path to Exile over Swords to Plowshares in the main, get some extra in here or something. With that being said, as always, if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps. If you like videos like this, just let me know. If you have any decks that you're like, man, I really want to see you play that, definitely let me know. I take requests all the time. Even the weirdest things. Like I've done Winota in Vintage. That's the level I'll go to. With that being said, as always, thank you for watching and enjoy your day.